WZBC Newton now begins its broadcast day. WZBC is a Class A non-commercial radio station broadcasting at 90.3 megahertz with 1,000 watts effective radiated output in stereo. WZBC is licensed to the trustees of Boston College, with transmitter and facilities located on the campus of Boston College, New Dun, Massachusetts. On behalf of the entire staff at WZBC Newton, we hope you enjoy the day. To make that happen, I'm here. I'm Herbie Perlman. I'm hoping you're listening, my perfect audience. It's hot out there. Have you noticed it's hot out there? You can check in if you have noticed, or if you've noticed something else, at 617-552-4686. But until then, consider if this is really what you want.
Dealer, I'm out of the game. If you are the healer, means I'm broken and lame. If thine is the glory, then mine must be the shame. You want it darker, we kill the flame. Magnified, sanctified be thy holy name. Vilified, crucified in the human frame. 1,000,000 candles burning for the help that never came. You want it darker. Hey, nay, nay, I'm ready, my lord. There's a lover in the story, but the story's still the same. There's a lullaby for suffering and a paradox to blame. But it's written in the scriptures and it's not some idle claim. You want it darker, we kill the flame. They're lining up the prisoners and the guards are taking aim. I struggled with some demons, they were middle class and tame. I didn't know I had permission to murder and to maim. You want it darker, hey, nay, nay, I'm ready, my lord. Sanctified be thy holy name. Vilified, crucified in the human frame. 1,000,000 candles burning for the love that never came. You want it darker, we kill the flame. If you are the dealer, let me out of the game. If you are the healer, I'm broken and lame. If thine is the glory, mine must be the shame. You want it darker, I'm ready, my lord.
Come round by my side and I'll sing you a song. I'll sing it so softly it'll do no one wrong. On Birmingham Sunday the blood ran like a wine, and the choirs kept singing of freedom. That cold autumn morning, no eye saw the sun, and Addie Mae Collins, her number was 1. At an old Baptist church there was no need to run, and the choirs kept singing of freedom. Now the clouds, they were gray, and the autumn wind blew, and Denise McNair brought the number to 2. The falcon of death was a creature they knew, and the choirs kept singing of freedom. Churches crowd, but no one could see that Cynthia Wesley's dark number was 3. Her prayers and her feelings would shame you and me, and the choirs kept singing of freedom. Carol Robinson entered the door, and the number her killers had given was 4. She asked for a blessing, but asked for no more, and the choirs kept singing of freedom. shook the ground. People all over the earth turned around, for no one recalled a more cowardly sound. And the choirs kept singing of freedom. Now the Sunday has come and the Sunday has gone, and we can't do much more than to sing you a song. Well, sing it so loudly, you better sing along. And the choirs keep singing of freedom. Young man was a good man.
If the sun would lose its light and we lived an endless night, and there was nothing left that you could feel, that's how it would be, what my life would seem to me. If I didn't have your love to make it real. If the stars were all on pin and a cold and bitter wind swallowed up the world without a trace. Oh, well, that's where I would be, what my life would seem to me, if I couldn't lift the veil and see your face. And if no leaves were on the tree and no water in the sea, the break of day had nothing to reveal, that's how broken I would be, what my life would seem to me, if I didn't have your love to make it real. If the sun would lose its light and we lived in an endless night, and there was nothing left that you could feel, if the sea was sand alone and the flowers made of stone, and no one that you hurt could ever heal, well, that's how broken I would be, what my life would seem to me, if I didn't have your love to make it real.
Any views you might hear on this program are not those of Boston College, its Board of Trustees, or this station. And for any of you listening with small children who've never watched Pornhub or TV, and have never heard words from the Netherlands, the nether parts, Dorten, who have no sense of the okie-dokie, the precariousness of the privities of private parts. If you have small children and you don't want them to hear about the function, in this case, because we're going with David Daida, the way of the superior lover, guru of jism. So if you don't want your tender ears to burn, well, then work and be saved and listen to this from David Daida. 11. Optimize ejaculations to maximize life's depth. Learn to become sensitive to the signs of energy in your body and mind. Unless you are ill, of advanced age, or coping with intense stress, you should generally feel replete with energy, and yet relaxed. Your breath should be full and deep. Your entire body should feel filled with vital force and ease, especially the major energy centers of your genitals, belly, chest, and head. Impotence, frigidity, promiscuity, pussy grabbing, lack of motivation, workaholism, meanness, ulcers, exceptionalism, heartburn, heart disturbances, conveyances of shallow breath, and migraines, headaches can be signs of blocked energy in these major energy centers. After you have opened your internal blocks and broken your addiction to frequent ejaculations, your body will discover its own natural equilibrium. If you are ejaculating too frequently, this equilibrium will be disturbed, and you will feel tired, weak, depressed, unclear, and motivated. A man who ejaculates too frequently often finds himself addicted to stimulants such as coffee, cigarettes, or philosophy. Even the stress of his career or profession may function as something like a stimulant, compensating for his spent internal energy. A too frequent ejaculator is readily recognizable. He may find himself unable to muster the energy to meet creative challenges of I and I-re, TPP, Tantric Practice Partnership, where subject and object interchange, where yin and yang come together and spread apart and penetrate the panic, the paranoia, the grief, the guilt, the fear, the feminazism, the rage, the regret, the shame, and the Sharia Shaista laws. A too frequent ejaculator may find himself unable to muster the energy to meet creative challenges and cut through the obstructions that arise in a creative life. Computers that don't work, phones that need charging, air conditioning that's gone off, and blades of the fan encrusted with dust. This man's financial, creative, and spiritual endeavors may be decent in theory, but they will lack energy. They will evidence far less expansiveness than he is truly capable of. If he has depleted his nature through excess ejaculation, externalities arise, and he's captured by other people's story, who manipulate him by their egregiousness. So often he settles for a rote job, something he can do without really fulfilling his life's purpose. He may find out that all he can do at the end is binge watch HBO or Netflix and zone out. Alternatively, a man who doesn't ejaculate frequently enough may become overly prickly, picky, angry, obsessed. He may suppress his natural flow of energy in other ways too, becoming prone to asceticism, fanaticism, and zealotry, righteously judging and devoting himself to special macrobiotic diets requiring each grain of rice to be chewed 30 times, or religious belief of a revangelical, semi-sanctified sort, or a stupid social cause like cat videos. If he builds up internal energy but isn't sensitive enough to know when he needs to ejaculate, he may also be too insensitive to properly circulate his building energy, and too much energy in too small a space is the very definition of pain, and particularly pain in the neck. So he may, as a result, get what we call blue balls, or genital discomfort, as well as migraines, headaches, backaches, and seminal rigidity. When you are ejaculating at your proper frequency, your energy is fully yet smoothly integrated into your kundalini that creates your feng shui comfort zone G-spot. Your mind is rested and calm, yet alert and responsive. Your creativity flows freely, and you are able to meet difficult situations with fresh perspective and at the center of gravity of your own story with resilience and persistence. Your honor is quick. Your Gulgan humor is deep and flexible. You are neither uptight nor excessively sarcastic. Your body flows with its full natural energy, and thus you tend toward optimum health for your age, even if you've lived your double Lamed Vavnik birthday. Your constitution remains robust, and your genetic characteristics express themselves epigenetically. Most importantly, you have energy to grow woke, to expand awareness from its quantum epicentric consciousness and its qubit quantum Queequeg moments. Spiritual growth the deepening capacity to love through all situations, even with very annoying people in spandex, grows. You feel the infinite in everyday life, and you can lubricate the levels. And you depend on the energy that's free in you for spiritual sliding, slippery slopes, and scalable to the very end. All this depends on having enough free energy to apply to the spiritual process. And that goes without saying, that if you are squirting out too much energy in ejaculatory over exuberance, you won't have enough vigor and vomit to witness the expanse of the moment, but rather you will get caught in other people's stories and the maze of their transient forms due to lateness or laziness of awareness. Hours will go by, and suddenly you will realize you have been totally lost in a sequence of one detail after the next, without even a moment's reflection, nor a moment of true Gulligan humor, or profound I and I TPP love to awaken your heart to deep surrender and clear recognition of natural and open being. You will be reduced to one name and become a one-trick pony. So make it a good trick. Nothing you do, nothing you can do makes any difference to your deepest being. This moment of experience evaporates into the next as quickly as you do the deed. Revelatory orgasmic reality enlightenment is yours for the taking, but you don't take your time. Your lifetime flies by. In your death, how important will you find the hours you've spent so seriously binge watching Netflix, entangled in dramas of money, sex, family, and knowledge. At the time of your death, as you enter the bardo, and if the bagel bards are there to bully you into the bardo with Bert, even now, the moments that seemed so important yesterday or 10 years ago, the events that made you cry or scream or laugh or rejoice, or your brother gets leukemia, those moments are now barely remembered in the present stream of assumed importance. And yet, Life consists of actions taken in the present moment. Earn a living, pony, so make it a good trick. Nothing you do, nothing you can do, makes any difference to your deepest being. This moment of experience evaporates into the next as quickly as you do the deed. Revelatory orgasmic reality enlightenment is yours for the taking, but you don't take your time. Your lifetime flies by. In your death, how important will you find the hours you've spent so seriously binge watching Netflix, entangled in dramas of money, sex, family, and knowledge. At the time of your death, as you enter the bardo, and if the bagel bards are there to bully you into the bardo with Bert, even now, the moments that seemed so important yesterday or 10 years ago, the events that made you cry or scream or laugh or rejoice, or your brother gets leukemia. Those moments are now barely remembered in the present stream of assumed importance. And yet, life consists of actions taken in the present moment. Earn a living, take out the garbage, diaper the infant, read a book. Spiritual growth involves all these details and being able to take them seriously, impeccably, while at the same time, in double consciousness, you feel through them as they arise and realize the midst of infinity. Then you can have humor about your situation. You can live as love. As good or bad as this moment is, you can feel its transiency, its transversality, its transduction, as well as the depth of Amazon primordial awareness, in which this moment is always being privatized capitalistically. This recognition isn't a trick of thought or philosophy or theosophy to believe in. It is realized or not with your whole being, soul to soul, dancing the abundance. Your whole being smacks of this moment. Either you are living as love, or you are lost in the drama of your own story, to one degree or another, with 6 degrees of separation.
seemed the better way. When first I heard him speak, now it's much too late to turn the other cheek. Sounded like the truth, seemed the better way. Sounded like the truth, but it's not the truth today. I wonder what it was. I wonder what it meant. First he touched on love, then he touched on death. Sounded like the truth, seemed a better way. Sounded like the truth, but it's not the truth today. I better hold my tongue. I better take my place. Lift this glass of blood. Try to say the grace. Seemed the better way. When first I heard him speak, but now it's much too late to turn the other cheek. Sounded like the truth, seemed the better way. Sounded like the truth, but it's not the truth today. I'd better hold my tongue. I better take my place. Lift this glass of blood. Try to say the grace.
One of the main effects of excessively frequent ejaculations is a very subtle spiritual dullness, so that the scope of your attention becomes whittled down to the routines of life, and you're focused on your Facebook wall and your MySpace, Instagram. This can be very depressing indeed. Being lost in the plot of your life, its actual routines, its rites and rituals without practices, does not and cannot truly fulfill you. No matter how good your life seems to be in this moment, you'll also, paradoxically, feel like you are missing something. Unless, of course, you are practicing feeling into this moment's true depth. Excessive ejaculation can dull you to the infinite depth of being in this and every moment. It can cut you off from your true inspiration, make you forget your aspirations, the love that is alive at your core. You can forget that. You can forget who you really are and get carried along the river of anger in Trump time and the river of things that need to be done just to make a living, just to make the ends meet in the middle passage. Take a deep breath. No longer sensitive with each breath to the divine, you may mistakenly look for spiritual depth in bloviating baby boomer blather in the bardo. You may mistakenly look for spiritual depth in meaning in the surface, superficial adventures of your life in spandex, your religious searches, your vermilion social activism, your scarlet family, your cochinealic career, your reciprocal relationships of recalibration, drugs, rather than relaxing through your autobiographical sags in your sagas and eddas, and into the ever-present openness of awareness and love, who you really are. Take a deep breath. Excessive ejaculation is not the only cause of this dullness, of course. Moment-to-moment depth of awareness is easy to lose, especially in Trump time. Even under the best of all possible conditions, it's easy to lose the Holocenic awareness of air-conditioned paradise, of central air, ever-present, optimal energy. Sexual misuse of energy is just one important factor that contributes to spiritual dullness. If you are an excessive ejaculator, you will rarely have the energy it takes to sustain the awareness you need in order to feel into the depth of this present moment and live as love, giving your deepest gifts in gifts and gans, with cojones and ganas. Instead, you will feel cut off from the effulgence of energy that is the nature of being itself, because all you can feel are the tasks in front of you while you multitask. Since most men these days are indeed excessive ejaculators in a weakless, weakened universe, and they are dulled in the subtlest of ways, and they're not nuanced neo-narcissists. No sirree, Bob. They are living lives of less depth and more desperation than they are capable of. Most men can feel the lack of their lives, and they suffer from it. Thus, the best measure for frequency of ejaculation is your depth of awareness moment to moment. Are you able to love through the events of this moment, feeling as the openness of awareness? Can you take a deep breath right now? Or are you lost in the unending details of the day, riveted to events, to Trump time and its melodramas, defined by the narrow mechanisms of NPR? All things considered, the capacity to remain wide in love and deep depends on a subtle recognition of the depth and openness of this very moment, now, here, nowhere, now, where. The capacity to remain wide in love depends on a subtle recognition of the depth and openness of this moment, which in turn is sustained by the practice of intention and intuition, every day getting to 36, bird by bird. But excessive ejaculators have neither the energy nor the attention available for these practices of intention and intuition. Because if you ejaculate too frequently, or if your sexual energy is blocked in other ways, you will sleepwalk through your best moments. In the way of the superior lover, you have sex as often as you like, but you circulate your energy rather than needlessly expending it in excessive ejaculation. You allow your increased energy to loosen your internal blocks by practicing full breathing, loving, and feeling during sex and throughout the day, and in your creative endeavors on the Creative Connectome. Don't assume that your energy or consciousness is limited. Rather, relax and intentionally open yourself out into the space and time all around. You have all the time in the world. As if you were pressing love into your lover, practice pressing your consciousness into the room with your breath, right here, right now. Inner breathe. Witness what occurs. Embrace events of the moment with open love. Through the events of this moment, receive energy into your heart like you would receive delight from your lover's body. Meld and merge through any stress or sense of separation. Do it with a heart of trust. It's safe here in cyberspace with us 36. We got your back and we get it. Moment by moment, relax, ease off into the easeful oneness that is your constant practice and natural home. Then, when your body needs to, when you can feel that it would be healthy for you to do so, and not simply a sneeze, or an itch scratched, or an addictional need. Then and only then ejaculate, with as much love and open giving as you will allow yourself. Enlightenment is here. It's yours for the taking. In this manner, revelatory, orgasmic reality enlightenment determines the best frequency for your ejaculation, whether once a day or once a year.
revoir, my once so bright, my fallen star. I'm running late, they'll close the bar. I used to play one mean guitar. I guess I'm just somebody who has given up on the me and you. I'm not alone, I've met a few traveling light like we used to do. Guess you're right, you always are. I know you're right about the blues. You live some life you'd never choose. I'm just a fool, a dreamer who forgot to dream of the me and you. I'm not alone, I've met a few traveling light like we used to do. Traveling light, it's au revoir. My once so bright, my fallen star. I'm running late, they'll close the bar. I used to play one mean guitar. I guess I'm just somebody who has given up on the me and you. I'm not alone, I've met a few traveling light like we used to do. But if the road leads back to you, must I forget the things I knew when I was friends with one or two? Traveling light like we used to do. I'm traveling light.
This is from Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. What I mean by meditation is to reject all experience and be in the experienceless state. From Seeds of Consciousness. The nonverbal I am is the gateway or portal to consciousness, and that, if one stays in no thoughts, no memory, no emotions, no associations, no perceptions, no attention, no intentions, that is the I am. Meditation is just to be, not to do. Maharaj was into meditation, but only as a way to focus on the I am. and stay there, discarding anything that arises that is not I am, and trace and find the source of I am, which is consciousness. In short, just to be. Then the meditator becomes the object of meditation. Maharaj was not into using techniques to create a state, though he suggested that for beginners, a mantra might be a step. We understood, those of us who consider ourselves the 36, we understood that for it, meditation, to be a step, the mantra, the repeater of the mantra, and the mantra itself must be one and the same. Then the I am is realized. Maharaj wanted you to find the I am and ultimately to go beyond. For it too evaporates. If you stay in the I am, discard all else, and trace everything back to the source, I am arises, and then nothingness. This is called Advaita, the non-dual awareness, and this was Nisargadatta's meditation. He said, when the dhyana yoga is done correctly, beingness dissolves gradually into non-beingness. Questioner, you seem to be critical of meditation, and yet in Hearts on Fire, there are many meditations. Why? Walensky, I am not critical of meditation. I am concerned, though, when meditation is being used as medication, or when it is being done by an I to get something, to survive better. For example, someone feels anger or fear, etc., and they adopt a, quote, spiritual philosophy to support doing some form of meditation or, quote, psychological reframe, unquote, to get rid of emotions, these bad emotions. In this way, emotions are labeled bad. When this occurs, false self-identity arises, which is trying to get rid of something. It is attempting to create a state of mind. Once the meditation is over, the state, as with all states of mind, disappears, changes, and a new state or a new identity arises. which either loves or hates the previous state. It is a never-ending cycle of state-laden judgments about states. Questioner, but you and others, even the Sargadatta Maharaj, offer many meditations. Walensky, yes, and unfortunately, as I have seen with Rajneesh disciples, even sexual meditations were merely newly created spiritual identities which were placed on top of other, more rigid character structures, which ultimately only supported, hid, and reinforced the deeper structures. Spiritual I identities, as Yogananda Paramahansa said, are the most difficult to get rid of. Questioner, but you offer them still. Walensky, that is true, to get people to focus and discard what is not them, not to create a state. Think of it this way. Hundreds of years ago, a Tibetan Lama would sit in meditation. A vision would spontaneously arise before him, which he would paint. Hence, yantras and tankas. Today there are shops which manufacture and sell these paintings. Meditation, like seeing lights, are reflections of a consciousness through the I am, which arose spontaneously. Later, the reflections were made into techniques, and the consciousness and the I am, the reflector of these experiences, was forgotten. In other words, you forgot yourself. The I am. Meditation should be natural. Now, people have experiences and get hooked on them. Worse yet, they decide the experiences mean something. I was once with Baba Prakashananda, and I asked him about his spiritual experiences. He said, "If I tell you my experiences, I'll think I had them. Experiences are ego." All experiences must have an experiencer. They occur within phenomena only. However, in the very beginning, you imagine there is some you meditating. If that happens, well, then let it happen. It will fall away as practice deepens, as the I and I of your identity, who imagines itself meditating, as that I and identity falls away. The meditator is prior to the meditation. What is meditation? Classically, meditation is the focusing of attention on a fixed object or space. It is called the uninterrupted flow of attention, like oil being poured from one container into another. What did Maharaj mean by meditation? Stay in the I am and discard all else is what he meant. This is pure bhakti, whereby the object of devotion or the loved one and the devotee, the lover, merge and become one, and all else is discarded. We call it pure because there is no subject-object difference. This is Nisarga Yoga or natural yoga. Maharaj began with the outermost levels to be gone beyond and worked inwardly, discarding subtler and subtler concepts and percepts, until the verbal I am, the nonverbal I am, and even the witness itself were gone beyond, evaporated. This for Nisargadatta Maharaj was an ongoing process, not limited to a meditation room, an ashram, a retreat center, or a study group. He said, meditation is a deliberate attempt to pierce into the higher states of consciousness and finally go beyond it. The art of meditation is the art of shifting the focus of attention to ever subtler levels without losing one's grip on the levels left behind. In a way, it is like having death under control. One begins with the lowest levels, so-called social circumstances, customs, habits, and their cohabitual physical surroundings, the posture and the breathing of the body, the senses, their sensations, percepts, the mind, its thoughts and feelings, until the entire mechanism of personhood is grasped in one Gestalt by Zeitzeugen and firmly held. The final stage of meditation is reached when the sense of identity goes beyond the I am so-and-so, one named. So why? And beyond into so I am. And beyond even further to I am the witness only, and even beyond that, beyond there is. In fact, beyond all ideas, into the purely impersonal personal, pure being. But you must be energetic when you take to meditation. It is definitely not a part-time occupation. Limit your interests and activities to what is needed essentially for you and your dependents. Save all your energies and time for breaking the wall your mind has built around you. Believe me, trust this, it's safe. You will not regret it.
I'm leaving the table. I'm out of the game. I don't know the people in your picture frame. If I ever loved you, oh, no, no. It's a crying shame if I ever loved you. If I knew your name. You don't need a lawyer. I'm not making a claim. You don't need to surrender. I'm not taking aim. I don't need a lover, no, no, no. The wretched beast is tame. I don't need a lover. So blow out the flame. There's nobody missing. There is no reward. Little by little, we're cutting the cord. We're spending the treasure. Oh, no, no, that love cannot afford. I know you can feel it. The sweetness restored. I don't need a reason for what I became. I've got these excuses. They're tired and lame. I don't need a pardon. No, 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 no. There's no one left to blame. I'm leaving the table. I'm out of the game. I'm leaving the table. I'm out of the game.
Listening to WZBC Newton 90.3 FM.
Seemed the better way when first I